Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Let's talk managers for Liverpool. Who is going to be Liverpool's next manager? Well, I don't know, but let's talk about it. I'll just come right out and say it. My first choice right now, by a long shot, has to be Xabi Alonso. I think maybe it's a little too perfect. Maybe that's a problem. But Xabi Alonso checks, I think, every single box that there is to check. And I've never felt that way about a manager except for Jurgen Klopp. When Rodgers was sacked, I remember thinking there's only one true manager that we can choose. And I had already kind of wanted Rodgers to leave because Klopp was available at the time. And I remember thinking, like, we have to get Klopp. Like, he's the only choice for Liverpool, and we got him. And look what happened 8 years later. So Xabi Alonso, I feel like, is kind of in the same boat. I'll caveat that by saying I'm not as excited about Xabi as I was about Klopp. But I think he checks absolutely every single box. First and foremost, I think he has a deep love for Liverpool. And I think Klopp kind of had that too, even before he was a manager here. I think he had a super deep respect for Liverpool. There's always been that weird kind of brotherhood between Liverpool and the BVB. So I think Xabi obviously has it. As a legend of the club, as someone who's won the highest competition, the Champions League. There's just a deep history there, and I think the fans will be behind him. I think the players would respect him for what he's done in the past. With that being said, I think he's actually a very good manager, and if you know what he's done at his current club, that's probably not a shock to you, but I think he has done kind of the unthinkable in Germany. He's leading the Bundesliga right now, which is just incredible with the team that he has. And I don't know if that's going to last, but what he's done with Leverkusen is quite remarkable. And the tactics he's able to employ, he actually, this is going to sound really stupid, he actually might be a better, more flexible, I'll say more flexible manager than Klopp. It seems like Xavi is able to tailor his tactics to what needs to be done in a particular match, where a lot of other managers who are really good, they have their style, and they're going to do that style. Now, I think what Klopp has done, especially this year, is we're not seeing Liverpool overtly destroy teams, and especially, in the first half of almost every game, we're either being outplayed, we're either going into halftime, down by a goal, or, it's 0-0 and the game's just been trash. But then somehow, Klopp has been able to download everything that team has done for the first 45 minutes and tell his team, like, okay, here's how we're going to win. Do this, do this, do this. They go out and do it, and it's 3 or 4-0 or 3 or 4-1. So Klopp seems like he is an absolute genius. He is able to see the game incredibly well. I just wonder if maybe Xabi Alonso is maybe he's a little bit more prepared to come into a game knowing what the opposition is going to do and do it. So if you haven't heard, Leverkusen is unbeaten this year. Which is just incredible. It's incredible what he's done there. Now, how does that translate to the Premier League? I have no idea. How does that translate to Liverpool? I have absolutely no idea. But I do not want Liverpool to go out and say, we're going to give somebody fresh a chance with this team. We're going to do something weird, something that nobody else expected. We're going to give some unknown guy from, the championship who's done a great job. We're going to give him the job. I don't think they're going to do that because that would just be ridiculous. But if Xabi Alonso is available, bring him in. Let's go. We got to try that. That's got to be our first option. De Zerbi, does he deserve it? De Zerbi? I don't know. He's proven in the Prem. But it's always interesting to bring in someone from a smaller club who's maybe not used to kind of that big club feel. And I think that's another point where Xabi Alonso kind of checks that box. He played for Liverpool, he played for Madrid. He's, managed at the highest level, which De Zerbi has as well. But, hey, I go back to, this is a terrible example, but I go back to Roy Hodgson. What were we thinking? Did anybody think that was going to work? What was that? That was weird. Roy Hodgson comes in. What does he do? He's got the budget of Liverpool, but he spends like he's still at Fulham or wherever he was. He brings in like all these mid-tier to championship level players thinking like, oh, this is going to be great. And it was an absolute train wreck. That was the lowest point in Liverpool's history for maybe several decades. Probably. That was so bad. Oh, that was bad. So don't do that again. I don't think De Zerbi would do that. But I don't know. You never know. It seems like, especially if he could bring over his backroom staff, they seem like they've got things figured out over there with their talent acquisition. But it's got to be Xabi, right? Xabi. I do like De Zerbi's energy. I think he's kind of got that Kloppian energy, if you will. But I don't know. Xabi. I want Xabi Alonso. Can we get Xabi Alonso? I don't think it's Pep Linders. I think he's gonna go. I don't think he'll stay. I think I've heard that everybody in Klopp's staff has said that they're leaving as well, which is sad, but makes sense. You'd probably want the guy coming in to have his say and all that. Anyways, current odds right now, Xabi Alonso is top of the line, and then De Zerbi and Linders and Julian Nagelsmann coming in at fourth place, actually. I don't want Ange. I don't want him. He's done a good job at Tottenham, but I want somebody. Here's another thing with Xabi Alonso. I've said Xabi Alonso about 90 times in this video. Xabi is young. He's 42 years old. He could manage Liverpool if he's up for it. I don't know if it's possible to do this now. It's maybe too stressful. He could manage Liverpool for 20 years, and he'd still be in his early 60s. That's another thing. Like, I don't want to be doing this managerial search, every 2 or 3 years. I don't want to go get an Ange who, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's in his 60s, late 50s, early 60s. Maybe he's got 5, 6, 7 years left, which is, it's fine. But let's bring in a young guy who's got the fire, who's got the ability, the skill level to do the job for a long time. Man, that would be fun. If Xabi came in, hit the ground running, maybe they're already talking to him. Maybe he's already looking at our squad and thinking like, okay, this is what I would do with this person. And man, I tell you what, Klopp said this in his interview. He is leaving an absolute diamond, a Ferrari. What's more expensive than a Ferrari? I don't know, a private jet for the next manager. And I'm thinking maybe this is why Klopp finally kind of let his guard down and felt okay about leaving Liverpool, because he's left them in the best possible way. If he had left 2 years ago after that almost quad winning season, which was, I think it was a disappointment. If he had left after he won the Premier League, if he had left after he won the Champions League, he would have gone out on top, and yet he wouldn't have left Liverpool in perhaps the best state. You know, it was kind of like Fergie when he left Manchester United. They had just won the Premier League for the 95,000th time, and he left on top. But what happened after that? Oh, the club has been deliciously terrible for the last, 13 years? It's been amazing. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think it will, because I think Klopp has absolutely left Liverpool in the best possible way. I think we have a brighter future than Manchester City right now with the youth we have in our team, the youth that is going to be with us for a decade plus. It's incredible. It's incredible what he's done. He called it a super team, a super age group. So whoever comes in must be able to manage that right away. We can't be doing this like, oh, it's going to take us a year for the new manager to come in and put his tactics in on this squad. No, this team is good enough to not even skip a beat. You know, our players that we have right now, it's ridiculous how good they are. We don't even need to buy anyone in the summer. It's crazy. So yeah, you think about next year, everybody's had a year together now with the new players, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Nunes has had one more year under his belt, Lucho, Gakpo. If we can do the job to keep Salah, which I think we should, I don't think we're gonna get Mbappe, but you know, keep everybody and just run it back with a new manager, and just absolutely trash and demolish. So, anyways, Xabi Alonso must be him, and I'll keep saying it until they sign him. A day after Leverkusen wins the treble in Germany.